So I bought a house recently, and as a person who like obsessively plays The Sims, especially obsessively builds in The Sims, I've been turning to the game a lot to like decide how I want to design things. I actually made a couple videos doing this, like designing my office in The Sims and stuff like that, so I can link those down below if you want to see them. But today I want to try and figure out my bedroom, mostly because I want to buy a new bed. I'm planning on buying a bigger bed when I move, and that's like a really big purchase. That's one of those like I'm gonna have this bed for like 20 years kind of purchases, so it's a lot of pressure, and for that reason I turn to The Sims 4 to try and figure out the vibes of this space. I realize this is like super dumb, but I just need to talk it out, and so here we are, talking it out in The Sims. I think first thing we need to build like the actual layout of the room. I will say straight away that I've tried to do this before, but the scale in The Sims is so weird. Like obviously we only have these like 1 tile wide blocks. I need half tiles. I need it to go to just right there. Nothing makes sense when you do it like this. It's all too big, but it's fine, it'll work. So the bedroom itself is kind of about this size. This is what it looks like in real life. Obviously there's currently no floors. We're gonna paint the walls and also like replace the outlets. So ignore all of that. Also, that's the mirror that used to be in the bathroom. So ignore her too. But there's some really big windows in this room. You can see like a tiny blade of the ceiling fan as well. There's a ceiling fan up there. There's also 2 lights like kind of above the bed. You can see there's switches right there for them. I've never had that kind of thing before. And also there's a window above the bed. I don't really vibe with that, I won't lie. I'm not really sure how to decorate here because like I want to put like art above the bed, but the window being there is kind of making that difficult. So honestly, I'd appreciate some advice. This is the angle from like the hallway when you walk into the room. You can see the windows are huge. This door goes to the backyard, and I don't have any other photos right now of the rest of the walls, but I'll show it to you in The Sims so you'll get the vibes. I will say, I hate the shutters. I know they're like nice and people like them and they're useful because like it blocks the sun. I just don't vibe with shutters. I think I would much rather only have curtains, so I might take those down. They're also like not really nice shutters. They're plastic and some of them are kind of broken. These are on most of the windows in the house, and some of them, like when you try and open it, the thing falls down. It's very bizarre. So I still haven't decided on these. My parents are like obsessed. I think they're so cool, but maybe it's because I'm coming from like a really dark townhouse. There's literally 2 windows in the entirety of my downstairs. This room that I'm in right now is the brightest room in the whole house, so you might be like judging it based off of this, but the rest of my house is very dark. This room has 2 windows. Keep that in mind. The entire downstairs has 2 windows. So maybe that's why I'm like, I want the shutters gone. Give me natural light. But anyway, we'll figure it out. I think I could do curtains, but we'll see. And again, obviously it will eventually have floors. Actually, in like 2 weeks, it'll have floors. So not to brag, but soon this will be covered up. Okay, but there's actually like a little tiny hallway right here. And there's like closet. This is where the scale gets kind of weird because I feel like there's a little nook where we're gonna put a cabinet. Maybe I need to make it all bigger so it matches. They're really not this big, but there's like 2 closets, tiny nook, and then this is the bathroom. I'm not really sure what the size of that bathroom is. I don't, ignore that. See, this is supposed to be smaller. I need it to be like on this half tile or even like to here. It needs to be like this big, this tiny nook. It's so weird trying to do this kind of thing in The Sims, but basically you walk into the room right here. Honestly, even that seems too big. I don't know. You walk into the room right there. There's like mirrored sliding doors into each of the closets. Picture that as a mirror and not a weird glass door. Again, this all seems a lot bigger in The Sims than it does in real life, but it's fine. There's 2 closets. The bathroom door is like right there. This also seems off. I'm not sure. I think it's because it needs to be like to there. Like the whole thing needs to be skinnier, but I don't want it to only be 1 tile wide because that's not right. The Sims frustrates me sometimes. Anyway, I'm looking for a tiny skinny window. Honestly, like this one is kind of like it, but that's not what it looks like. Maybe that's the best bet. Okay, well there's like a tiny skinny window there. There's also one in this closet and there's one right here. Like that's where the shower is. I guess the shower would be shaped like that. See, that's just not right. Like, you know, that's not right. This is where the scale is like so obviously messed up, but like picture that's where the shower is. It's not that long and skinny. It's not a cave like that, I promise. Okay, and then we obviously also have those really big windows. I think I might use these because I feel like that kind of gets the point across. The windows are like hands down the best part of this room. Obviously, that's awesome. Like when you come in and have that great window. The view's not quite like that. It's like a bush, but I'll take the mountains in The Sims. That's a great touch, honestly. I'm into it. Well, maybe mountains is the wrong word. Maybe giant rocks is more appropriate now that I look at it. Yeah. Not mountains. And then there's also a door like right here. I think it's probably like there, the door. Or maybe, this room's a little bit wide. Like I honestly Honestly, I feel like maybe it should be like this, but then it looks too long and skinny. Maybe it should be one tile smaller even. Oh no. Everything's off. Everything's all the way off. You know what? Maybe it would be better if the hallways were only one tile wide. Like maybe that would make more sense. Look, I'm not pleased by it, but it's more realistic. Okay, so the wood flooring, I have this problem every time. I cannot find the same color. The Sims just does not have the same color. This is the actual wood floor color. This is a sample of it, and that's also my kitchen cabinet color. This is nothing. That's just the wall of the place, so ignore her. But these two things are actually going in my house. So you can see we don't really have like this wood color in The Sims. I know I'm being like a little bit too picky about it, but like that's too dark, that's too yellow. I always think this is maybe the best version, but that's kind of what it's gonna look like. I have to redo the windows again. That's annoying. I don't deserve this. Okay, so I think that's the actual layout. I think we've got it now. I don't think we're gonna put a ton of furniture in here. Number one, there's gonna be a dresser right here. I don't like any of the Sims 4 dressers. Now that I think about it, I don't want any of these in my house. Not a single one belongs in here. Not the vibes, not the vibes, absolutely not the vibes. I don't know what I want. Honestly, maybe that's most appropriate. I like the light wood color and I like the white accents. Okay, that'll do. I also want to put a TV above it. There's actually an outlet in the wall already. There's an outlet like right here in the wall, so it's perfect. We can make my dad mount it. It'll be great. The bed thing though, this is where I'm struggling because I don't really know what sort of style of bed I want to go for. I think this one is the most similar to what I'm wanting. I have a couple requirements. Number one, I want the headboard to be upholstered, but not like ugly upholstered. Like I like how this is smooth. I wouldn't want something like this that's like more detailed. Does that make sense? I like the simplicity of this, but I prefer to have headboards that are like cushy. Because you know what? In real life, if you wanted to lean up against this is going to hurt you. Like the lip is going to be right where your neck is. Like this is just not a pleasant bed to like sit in. You know what I mean? So I want a bed like this because this is more comfortable. Honestly, color scheme wise, I'm not really sure. I go back and forth a lot. This photo is a little bit similar to the color scheme of my current bedroom. I think I might have used this photo as like an inspo pic when I moved in here like 3 years ago. Except in my current bedroom, this back wall is like dark green. I have white sheets. I have a little pink blanket across. I don't have a furry thing. I don't have that, but like the pink and green. Honestly, like the color scheme of this artwork is kind of a similar vibe to my bedroom right now. I like it. I think it's cute, but I kind of want to do something different, mostly because I'm going to put that furniture in the guest room. So I kind of want to switch it up a little bit. I've been spending a lot of time on Pinterest trying to figure this out. We're gonna paint the walls white for now, but I might change that later. I don't know. I can always repaint it, you know? But for now, the walls are going to be white. I like the idea of painting the room a dark color. Like this is kind of cool. And also the room is very bright, so you could probably get away with that. See, I just don't know what kind of furniture I like. Like I don't think I like those nightstands and I don't like the leather bench, but I kind of like the bed. Help. Music. Music. Shh. Oh my god, that scared me. Never mind, maybe I don't like Pinterest anymore. I think, honestly, so far, this has been my favorite swatch of this bed. I've looked at them all. I don't like the dark bedspreads. I'd rather have a white bed and, like, dark walls. As far as nightstands go, I always just use this one in The Sims, but I don't actually want that one, I don't think. I always just go for that in The Sims 4 because it's easy. Honestly, even something like this, why does that look so tall compared to the bed? Oh my god. But, like, something like that, simple, has a drawer, has a shelf, it's useful, it's kind of wide. But you see, truly, I think that's like the only furniture you could put in here. I'm not sure exactly how long the bed would be. I'd need to like measure the room again. You could probably put a bench at the end of the bed. Oh, I hate the colors on this. Oh no. Anyway, there could probably be a bench there, but I don't know if you could get much else in here. I'm not even sure you could have a plant in the corner because this door is like so close to the edge. I guess it depends like how big of a nightstand I get because there maybe could be, I wish I had a picture of the other wall because this is so annoying that I can't show you, but the nightstand is like right here. So I guess you maybe could put like a big plant on the floor next to it. But again, that really depends like how big the nightstand is. Like could a plant fit right here? I don't know. I would like one too. I mean, that's also not the only way to get to the patio. There's like a sliding door in the living room. So, you know, if I block the door, I guess, well, it's supposed to be further over, but then this wall is too big. This wall isn't actually this big. So we'll have to think about that. There will be plants in here. I'll put plants like on the dresser and stuff if I don't have anywhere else to put them, but I would like a big plant. Honestly, I'm thinking just like some white curtains. Maybe I'll like double layer it so there's like sheer curtains and blackout curtains, like a hotel, but I could use the blackout curtains to sleep and the sheer curtains if it's too bright. I don't think I'll be in here much during the day though, so we'll see. I'm honestly leaning towards painting this like a really dark color. Do I still have my CC that I made? Oh, Why did I take it out? I made myself the perfect wallpaper. I don't like any of these. Like, that is not the vibes. I'm sorry, it's not the vibes. I am not painting it Christmas green. You see, this one isn't even like a dark color, but that's a really nice color. I like that a lot. That one's a nice color too. Maybe I like that sagey green color, but maybe I want it to be darker. I'm not sure. Oh God, not that color, not that color. That's actually kind of similar to the other wall colors. Ooh, maybe not. I need it to be more muted. It needs to be like a bit more of an olive tone, like less blue in it. Seriously, this window being here is really throwing me off. Like, I don't know what to hang above the bed. Obviously, it's quite big. It's also very high up. It has the shutters, which might be useful because like you need to block out the sun somehow from there. I like to sleep in a very, very, very dark room. So maybe I like those shutters. But then like if the bed comes up to like maybe the size of this thing, maybe this mirror being here kind of helps because that helps us like visualize the size of the bed. It would be wider than that. It'd probably come to like near to where this light switch is, but I bet it would be about that high. I kind of like a lower headboard. Do you really hang art above that? Like, is it weird? You can't really hang art like underneath the window. So do you need to buy like a higher bed to fill in the space more? Oh, hi Snap. My cat's being weird. She won't jump. She wants to jump so bad, but she won't do it. Oh, there we go. Hi. Do you have any strong opinions? It's your room too. So whatever you're thinking, tell us now so we can add it in, okay? No? Nothing to say? All right. Okay, goodbye. All right, we're on the desk now. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna design it? Honestly, if you have any opinions for what to do, like bed-wise and size-wise with this window, I would greatly appreciate it. Part of me is like, what if I got some really big art and like hung it over it? That's probably a bad idea though. I just don't love the window. I just don't love it. You also like can't very well put curtains there either. That's the thing. Like, it's just kind of there. What do you want? She's chirping at me. Oh, important to note, there's a thermostat like right here on this wall. So I don't know how easily you could hang up stuff on this wall, but you could probably put some artwork here. It's kind of in a weird spot. It's like maybe a little bit further over, so it's like the art would have to be small so you don't cover it, you know? Am I making a whole YouTube video to ask for suggestions on how to furnish my bedroom? But you could put like some small art there. I actually like that art piece a lot. Maybe I'm going for like dark green with yellow accents. Is that the vibes? Do you know what? Maybe you could hang up art like above either nightstand, like some sort of pretty print that's like coordinating but not identical above each nightstand. And then if the bed was a little bit taller, maybe that would help. Picture like something like that, like a taller headboard, not that headboard. I don't like tall beds. Oh no, I gotta do some shopping. I have time. I'll sleep on a mattress on the floor for a while if I need to. We'll figure it out. But again, opinions appreciated. Okay, I'd like to put a bunch of plants on the nightstands. Or maybe like a plant on each nightstand. I don't know. Something different on each. Matching lamps, but I'm not sure what kind of lamp. I kind of like these. These are from Get to Work, but they're quite simple. Oh my god, doing this in The Sims is so annoying because you have to like alt place them each. You can't just like scoot them. That looks dumb, but like you get it. Maybe some books on this one. You'd figure it out. You'd get cute clutter items, basically. And then I want to get a rug. I've never lived in a house that has like wood floors or tile in bedrooms before. Like growing up, my bedroom had carpet. Here, the whole upstairs has carpet. So I'm gonna want some sort of carpet in here, but I'm not really sure about the size of that carpet. I have the measurements of this room written down, but I have them downstairs and I don't wanna go downstairs to get them. But I'm not sure like how big the rug could be. I don't know if you could fit an 8x10 like this way. Maybe it has to, I don't know. Oh, I'd need to look again. But like, would it have to be like this instead? I'm not sure. I don't like how that looks. I don't like the vibes. Honestly, I quite like this rug. Maybe that's the vibes. Well, and I guess keeping in mind, the walls are going to be white for now. Like when we first move in, everything's white. Oh, this is very white. Oh no, I'm gonna have to paint the walls a darker color. I don't know what color yet. I wanna wait until I like figure out a rug that I want or something, you know, and then I can paint the walls because that's easier, but they're not gonna stay white. Oh no. Do you know what? This was helpful. I appreciate you listening to me ramble about this for a while. I know you probably like super don't care at all about this, so it's very kind of you to just hear me out as I ramble and discuss my concerns with my bedroom. All in all, I really, really love the shape of this room. I think it's really nice. I love having two big closets. Like just one of these closets is bigger than the one that Dan and I share now, and we're gonna have two of them. That is huge. There's like gonna be a tall cabinet when you first come into the room, which is even more storage. I think I'm gonna use it kind of like a linen closet, I'm pretty sure, like for towels and stuff. But there's like so much storage in this room. I'm so excited about it. If you liked this video, I made one for my office and my kitchen already. And the kitchen one is kind of fun because I did that before we bought like any cabinet cabinets or anything. So the update video to the kitchen one is gonna be exciting because it'll be like, look, here's what I wanted in The Sims and here's what we actually got. And also I'm planning on making like a more updated video about the current state of the house because I did one like as we were mid demo, but like they've put drywall back up and they're starting to paint this week. So pretty soon it's going to look very different. So we're kind of at that point now where like it stops getting worse and it starts getting better, because every time when I was going there before, I would like show up and there'd be more holes in the wall. Like, oh, here's a new hole for plumbing, you know, stuff like that. But now the holes have been patched, so it actually looks like a room. It's very exciting. Anyway, like I said, I'll link those down below and at the end of the video for you. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see some more house content from me. I'm never sure like if this kind of thing is like too odd or if you like it. And honestly, do you even want to see like the IRL stuff or not? I guess like I would want to see it, but I'm not sure if you want to see it. So tell me in the comments if you actually care about the IRL house stuff, because that'll help my like content plans. And with that being said, I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye everybody. Seriously though, ideas for above the bed greatly appreciated in the comments. I am calling upon your wisdom here, and I seriously need it.